Thank you, Mr. Hootie and his blowfish. Yeah, so we are back for part two of Lorne is Still a Predator. Sorry, the I am a predator call, as I should have more appropriately said. So, um, I I am looking forward to this. But I mean, look, I'm always looking forward to hanging out with you guys. So that's not much of a revelation there. So let's crack into it because I don't think there's much more to be said about this call. Um, and yeah, just I love it that it's starting pretty much right on the back of another fantastic Great Bapstby reading. G'day to Spencer Silvera and Active Cod Carrot Gaming. Tiffany Rose, hello. Juniper, hello to you. And Bunny, can you hear me, June? And Winnie's boyfriend slash husband. And Michael Amend. And Len's33. And Trooper Grandson, Chatchabay Billy. Logan W, late, exactly. Just laughing at Michael and Men waltzing Matilda for the opening song. Don't know about that one. I'll get back to you. Rachel D, hello. And Rocket Fuel Foreskin and Conzanton, hello to you. Tay Driver, hello to you. And M, hello to you. And Lala Grace, great to see you. And Tracy Hamill, hello Tracy. And Cyber Squeak, g'day Squeaky. And the Duchess of Cornwall, funny seeing you fine folks around here. Who else we got here? Call me Link, my fucking word. Evil Little Nuggets, hello to you. Hippo's Tail, bonjour. April and Pedro, hello. And J-Rob. And Believe in You, Ilrig, Good New FBI, who says, Hold My Hand is the better Hootie and the Blowfish song. I don't remember asking for your opinion, so thanks. Cornhole Three-Way, hey, it's my favourite screen name. Well, look at that. It's my favourite screenway too. Hello, screenway. My favourite screen name too. Hello, Cornhole Three-Way. And fantastic reading before. I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm glad you with all the name changes and stuff. I hope that didn't kind of take away from it, but I thought that was very funny. But awesome job, and I'm looking forward to listening back to it again. Who else we got here? Anne O'Rourke, hello, and Sean McClure, g'day, mate. Who else we have? Witchert, hello, Witchert, and Jerry Anthony, and Egbert, and Dat Damn Doctor, and Megan Gorski, g'day Megan, and Pussy Destroyer, g'day Pussy Destroyer, and SJB Dweller. Hello to you. I think I'm going to just keep calling you Some Jealous Basement Dweller because for some reason I really struggle over the words. The letters are there. And I think that was everyone. I think I got everyone. So let's get into it, shall we? G'day, Cornville Nugway. What name changes? I love it. So let me just get up my things here, and still takes me like a minute to do this. You'd think it'd get faster, but apparently not. So thank you to AsburyBrad for tonight's stream art. I hope everyone has a very merry Lawnmas. So if I remember correctly, so we finished off part one yesterday, and so we're going to go straight into part two.
So I've thought about it before the day, but I've never sat.
Oh, g'day, Page Master. Hello to you.
Down and dwelled on it and thought about it. And, do you understand what I'm saying? I've never taken time to dream about it. To just sit there and think about what it would be like, and not to put that much thought into it.
So just for the context, in case anyone kind of forgot where we left off, he was talking about how when he would watch news segments about, you know, kids that have been abducted or kids that have been abused, he would get thoughts in his head. So he's kind of talking about that now, which is really disturbing.
Well, when you say that, I can imagine that you wouldn't necessarily think of like every single detail, like where you would be, what her name would be, that, you know.
Oh, I don't disagree with Debbie very often, but I definitely think he would be thinking about what her name would be. And what her name would be is something Marie Armstrong. That is, the last name would definitely be Armstrong. I think that is a huge part of his little fucking fantasy.
That type of thing. But I think that there's things that you were thinking about, because
Okay, this is another way for me to explain it. Like with you, I think about doing things with you. Just doing things. I think about just going out to eat with you and just doing things with you. I think about it all the time. I never did that. To sit there and fantasize about having sex with an underage girl like that.
So I'm really struggling to follow his train of thought here. So he, all in the one time, he's talking about how he would get thoughts when he would see, you know, stories of kids being molested, and then, then he goes in and then talking about, you know, sitting there and thinking about it, and now he's talking about going, you know, for walks and fucking eating and that. Like, is that what he's trying to say? He would get thoughts about the kids on the thing. I don't understand. Like, is he trying to say, oh, well, when I would see those things, I'll think about those kids, and I'll think about, oh, I wish it was me, but I was, you know, going for a walk in the park and you know, getting a meal together and holding hands. Like, this is so weird. It's like he realizes what he's saying, so that he pulls back a bit to make it's like, oh, it's not sexual. It's none of that sexual bullshit, Debbie. And g'day, Donde Lieta.
But what would
I've
you
never
think
taken
about
that much
then?
time out of my day to think about that.
But what would you think about then? What would happen? Okay, so you're sitting at home, you hear a story on the news about a child who was molested, and something turns you on about that. What happens then?
There's just the thought in my head of it because of being mentioned on the news, and then the thought of it, and I try to think about it, you know, actually happening.
Okay, so when you think about it actually happening, what's happening?
Just what, you know,
G'day, Kingpin.
try to picture it in my head.
What would you try to picture?
Just what that was actually that was happening.
What were you picturing when you were picturing it, Lorne? See, it's not fun, is it? It's not fun to do this. What were you thinking when you're thinking about me shit?
You know, what they say, what the stories that they say, you know, I try to get the picture in my head of it actually happening.
Okay.
And that's the thing, is that I never put myself in place to be in that picture with that girl or that boy, because I've heard disgusting fucking stories about it happening to boys, and that just grossed me right the fuck out because of what happened to me. And so it's not something that I ever sat down and thought constantly about. It's just a story of it. When I hear the story of it, it would be in my head, and I try to picture it, and
it turned you on.
Evidently, somewhere along the way, it did.
Well, when you say evidently it did, that kind of puts a question mark in there, you know?
Yeah, because it grosses me out to think about it.
Right. But that's what we're...
It grosses me out that it turned me on.
Right. So there is no question mark. So change your answer a little bit. And that's
And this should be the biggest breakthrough for him right here. Like right here, if Lorne was a half decent person and there was any hope for him, this would have been the breakthrough. This would have been him finally admitting that, yes, I do have this attraction. It disgusts me that I do. I hate that I do. The thinking back on it, the fact that I could have those thoughts disgust me. And then now he could actually start to get help for this. Like if he was any chance of redemption, the call would have pretty much ended here. He would have called up his therapist, counselor, whoever he works with, and said, "Look, I want to book in to see you as soon as possible. I've finally had a revelation about all this, and I've got a lot of work to do, and I want to get started." And he would have engaged with that, and he would have come to terms with the fact, yes, he's got this attraction, but that, an attraction to kids does not mean that you will act on it. And the council could help him ways to work with this, as a lot of people, because that's the thing. Like, there are a lot of people that would have these attractions that would never act on it and would seek help for it so it never happened. So Lorne could have done this, but he chose not to because he is an absolute piece of fucking shit.
evidently it turned me on because.
And g'day, Balloon Sage, and also Chris Bromelo and MRJ and Triggy Tiggy.
When you say that, it makes as if you're confused and you still don't understand. The answer really is, it turned me on. When I would hear those stories, I would visualize myself in those stories.
I say evidently because it's a defense thing. I don't want to admit it.
Right, it's a defense thing, and that's what we're trying to get past. That's what's been blocking you this whole time. All these defenses that you're putting up there when you already know the answer.
But I hate the answer.
I know you hate the answer. But that answer is part of you.
And g'day, Logan W. Oh, my mistake. He was confused at the time.
And I get that you can't take it. You can't take the discomfort.
I wonder if what happened to me when I was a kid, if that's the reason that I had thought about it.
Well, I think that that's something in particular that maybe Emma can help you about, talk about, or that's something that it's something that you can talk about with your counselor and your probation officer.
And g'day, Lorne's Wet Salad. And, I've said my piece many times on whether I believe he was abused as a child or not. So I'm not going to really say it anymore. But, yeah, you can make your own decisions.
What I really want to do right now is for you to move past those defenses that you try. When you don't acknowledge this, you're never, ever, ever going to be able to process it the right way. That's why you've never been able to talk like this to Allie, someone who was in the position to help you.
It fucking hurts to fucking think back to when I was a kid. That happened to me. so fucking mad about that.
Mm-hmm.
G'day, April and Pedro.
I'm really glad that finally, Lorne, you're saying it out loud.
And I'm really glad that Debbie doesn't buy into this stuff at all. This, mad about what happened in that life, because that would be exactly what he wants. He'd want to be let off the hook by that. Just it's been said time and time again, but just such a great job here.
Glad that finally you're able to know that you're not any better than the other guys in your class, any of the other guys who were showing up to meet their own Kaylas. You're not any better and you're not any different.
It really sucks to have to sit in there and listen to some things that they've done.
So I wanted to ask you this, and it's probably going to sound upsetting to you, but I want you to keep with being honest and open. When you are hearing those stories.
And hello, V.A. Hoss and Alison Marie Armstrong and Dean Fulford.
Do you get turned on?
No, I don't.
Bullshit.
I get mad.
Bullshit.
I try to block it out.
Why do you get mad?
Because he's an innocent little kid. I've heard some disgusting things.
Do you feel that things have changed?
And he says he's heard some disgusting things. You've done disgusting things, Lorne. Like you're no different. You're no better.
For you since back when you were hearing the stories about men molesting children, when it did turn you on and you would visualize those circumstances. Until now. Huh?
What do you mean? What do I think things have changed for me?
Well, what do you think has changed? Because I get that they're talking in much more graphic detail and things like that, but essentially it's the same situation as you hearing about a child in a sexual position.
Yeah, it's changed for me a lot.
What's changed?
I have a hard time sitting there listening to the stories that I'm hearing these people that they've done. I have a really hard time sitting there listening to them. Sometimes I just want to get up and punch them.
Punch your fucking self. G'day, Lorne Sisters, Monkled Leg. And
do you think that you're better than them?
Do I think I'm better than them?
Yeah, or different?
I don't think I'm better than them. The reason I say that is because they just have more of a problem.
Why?
Some of them can't stay away from that.
Well, Lorne, you can't stay away from it. You just don't have the opportunity to get to it. Like, this is absolute horseshit. Like, nothing has changed about what you want to do. You just don't have the access to do it.
Well, how are your thoughts and behaviors different from them?
So I can stay away from it. I stay away from it. I don't think about it anymore. I hate the thought of it. I hate that I did it.
That's right, and you did it. Exactly
I
right,
hate the
Lord.
thought of a kid being hurt.
G'day, Anna Mango.
That's why it's so hard to sit there and listen to the stories. But I can't hate that person because he's got a sickness. And at least he's in there trying to deal with it and trying to get better to not do it.
Yeah, unlike you, and I mean, what he's doing here is, like, well, I can't hate them because they've got a sickness. Just like me, Debbie, I've got a sickness. So, it means that I'm not responsible for what I did, just like these guys aren't. But the only true thing there he said is that, at least, I mean, I've got no idea about the guys in his class and that, but the fact that they pass the class and he didn't means they're at least engaging. So, yes, if you want to find something, decent, like not decent, but if you want to find something you can say about those people, yes, at least they are. Unlike you, Lorne, you can't even do that. Like, that is the absolute minimum a person like you and them have to do, and you can't do it. You won't do it.
And some of them are really putting in a really good effort.
Do you
And some
feel
of
like
those ones that are putting in a really good effort are really have a serious, serious problem with it.
okay? So, what do you think about the sickness that brought you to do what you did?
What I think is, thank God I don't have as bad as what some of these other people have it.
Okay.
Some of these other people, it's like a drug to them.
Mm-hmm.
Lorne, firstly, hello, William Fetters. You you are the same. Like, why can't you understand this? You are the same. You just weren't very successful at it. That's what differentiates you. Like the ones in there that you talk about that have actually physically harmed a child. Now you have harmed multiple children. Not You have not physically been in their vicinity, but everything that you did with the decoy and what I know that the same kind of stuff you would have done with Molly and any other victim, that causes and that caused major, major harm. Like it's not kind of like, oh well, I didn't actually physically touch her, so it's all good. But the only reason you didn't is that you couldn't. If MySpace Molly didn't avoid you, however she managed to do that, it would have happened there. If Kayla was real, it would have happened there. There's no difference. The only difference is you couldn't even do that right. And I mean, let's be clear, I'm very fucking glad you couldn't do it right. But that is the difference.
I thank God all the time that I'm not in the position that they're in.
So the position that they're in is different because they have at least one real victim.
The position that they're in is that they're addicted to it. They won't stop, but they have a problem with stopping.
What are they having a problem stopping?
It's their thoughts.
Okay.
Their thoughts of how they want to do it again, and the thoughts of how it excites them to think about what they did.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't excite me to think of what I did. It bothers me that I did what I did. It bothers me that I had thoughts of it. It bothers me that I acted on it.
It bothers you. Like, I mean, this this would have been pointed out to you by a therapist, but Lorne, it bothers you that you got caught. It bothers you that you went to jail for it. It bothers you that you now have this stain on you. It bothers you that, you've lost family through it. That you didn't have many friends, but you've lost friends at that point. It bothers you that, your catfish constantly remind you of it. That's what bothers you. It doesn't bother you at all. It doesn't bother you at all that you tried to do it, and even though you'll deny it, if you had the opportunity to do it again, you would do it again. Because I can tell you that with certainty, because if that did bother you, if the thing that actually bothered you here was the things you're saying, that you had those thoughts, that you could hurt a child and all this kind of stuff, then if that was the primary thing that bothered you, you would be doing everything in your power to make sure it didn't happen. You would be in those therapy sessions engaging. You'd be asking for more. You'd be not fucking smoking and drinking so you can save up money to get more therapy if the stuff that they're providing you wasn't doing it. If that bothered you, something that heinous, you would be no stone unturned to make sure it didn't happen again. To engage in a therapy, understand that you won't lose that attraction, but there are very real ways you can make sure it is never a possibility that you hurt another child. That's what you'd be doing if it bothered you. And the fact that you aren't tells me that you're a fucking liar.
It bothers me to talk about it. It bothers me that I haven't been able to talk about it to anybody and go in depth with like I have with you with it. It bothers me that it eats me alive.
It should eat you alive. As soon as you become accepting, or you've reached total acceptance of what you've done, that's just it. You're accepting it.
It's hard to accept stuff. I hate thinking about it.
I know.
I hate thinking that I did it. It hurts thinking that I did it.
One of the things, the reason why I was bringing up the other couple of decoys that you hit up without remembering is that there would have been more Kaylas. And I'm not saying that their responses would have been the same. Your conversation may not have been exactly the same. It started the same. Because I can tell you that one of the very first lines.
G'day, Wendy's fat fucking eyes. I'm glad, mate. Thank you.
In common was, "You're a little cutie."
This is what a piece of shit I was.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't remember it because I don't want to remember it.
Well, again, like I said, you may not remember exactly the names of the girls, but they sounded like little girls. There was one Disney girl. I mean, how juvenile is that?
I've heard of that.
Okay.
I've heard of that. I've heard other people tell me about that.
Okay.
I don't remember talking to any Disney girl. I don't remember any of the names.
But you did. They have the chat log, and I don't give a fuck. I can't understand how you can't remember, but that doesn't change anything. Whether you can remember it or not doesn't change anything. I mean, in fact, probably if you actually can't remember, it was probably because you're so infatuated with your other fucking kid you're trying to fuck that they just didn't mean anything. Oh, try to hit them up. Oh no, yay, Kayla's back. I'm gonna ask her to fucking marry me.
Yeah, because
I
you
don't
were
remember.
kind of in a frenzy.
Huh?
You were kind of in a frenzy. And if she was a real girl, she would have remembered you every single day.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
I've even heard girls who were young at the time that this happened, or the time when internet chatting kind of started. Remember the times when they would be online, when they were around Kayla's age or whatever, and they would get these creepy, disgusting guys who would
I
be
know.
doing exactly what you were doing.
I
So
get all pissed off because I let Leanne Mandy go on the internet when I was out in Washington State. Leanne was 12 years old.
And g'day, Cock and Smokey the cat.
okay.
And I was sitting right there, and I let her go into a chat room, and I told her only talk to females. Pick out a female and see if she'll talk to you. Well, some guy got on there and started saying sexual shit to Leanne.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fucking pissed.
A guy like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get on there, I get Leanne out of the chair, and I get on there, and I started talking back to the guy. I was so fucking pissed off. Fucking cocksucker.
Okay, Lord.
You were a cocksucker.
I was a cocksucker, too.
And g'day all the way absurd and Smoke Daddy. G'day to you both. And and Roy's 23 cats.
The reason why I don't understand how I could allow myself to do that.
Well, once again, it was a fantasy of yours, and you were in a safe place to do it. Just like that guy was in a safe place to do it with your niece.
Yeah, because you know I couldn't get my fucking hands on him.
Oh yeah, Lorne. Big tough man. You would have sorted him out. And then probably asked him for tips on how he, is getting away with it. Maybe that's the guy that taught you about deleting the archives and sent you the fucking kiddie porn, you asshole.
It's really ironic that you were feeling that way, isn't it?
Yeah. To this day, I still remember how fucking pissed off I was. Piece of shit just kept running his fucking mouth.
I think that's probably why.
Leanne started crying.
Why did she start crying?
Because she saw how mad I was. It scared her, and she started crying. She asked me to get off the internet and just shut the computer down. So I did. I saw her crying, and I did what she asked me to do.
Yeah, probably because you were screaming like an out of control asshole. Like this. I mean, if this story is true, like you just made you just made that situation all the more traumatic than it needed to be. G'day, laundry news condom. I mean, not that I think you got any tact or class, but if you weren't living out some kind of weird fucking revenge fantasy on yourself with this shit, you could have got her out of that situation and not made this big fucking deal that would make her cry and make her think that, potentially she's done something wrong. All you had to do was be like, hey, look, don't talk to that person anymore. They're not a nice guy. that's all you have to do. You have to scream and fucking shout to make you feel like some fucking hero when all you're doing is projecting your sick fantasies and I don't know, I don't know exactly what you were doing there, but it's bizarre, a pedo yelling at another pedo.
Is that the niece that you were?
Oh, and good night, Smokey the cat. Thanks for being here. And firing someone is never a fun experience. So I hope it goes as well as possible. I'll be thinking of you.
Talking about?
You said I was talking about.
Yeah, you said that Kayla could trust you because you had nieces her age.
Yeah, Leanne and didn't. I've only got 3 nieces, and they're all same age.
Okay. So I'm curious why they were brought up.
Because at the time, I really did not intend to do what I wound up doing. I really intended to just give her somebody to talk to.
Well,
That was
okay,
at the beginning of the conversation.
Right. It was only a couple of minutes in the conversation, and you brought them up.
Yeah, and this is part of what messed me up. Is that this is why I don't. This is why it's hard for me to get past what I did. It was only not long after that I started talking sexually to her, and it bothers me. It bothers me because I can't figure it out.
Bothers me.
Well, we already figured it out.
Yeah, exactly, Debbie. We have already figured it out. Case closed. You solved the case. That was meant to be a robot voice. It wasn't very good. And g'day, Tranquillo and James Dean and Kelpie and Joran couples blog. Hello to you.
Well, I know, but I can't figure out.
But just on the couples blog comment, it was a troll. She was trolling him, Kelp and Joran couples blog. You realise that, right? I'm worried you don't realise that.
Why I did what I did.
You can't
when I got so pissed off about somebody else doing it to Leanne.
You can't
and when
verbalize
I started out, but when I started out, it's not what I wanted to do. I can't figure out why I did it. Well, I know why I figured out why I did it. I can't figure out how I allowed myself to do it.
Okay, so say it again.
And g'day, Hey Boo, and that's also could have something to do with it as well. Hey Boo says he played the he played the angry uncle to throw off the nieces. They may have been wondering about Uncle Touchy and how he looks at them a little too long sometimes, and that could have been it too.
Again, then.
Or maybe it just bothers me so much.
What was the reason for why you did it?
Because of the thought of it. And
the thought of what?
The thought of having sex with an underage girl. That was a virgin.
That was a
virgin. It made me horny.
Right.
And that pisses me off.
Okay.
It pisses everyone off, Lorne.
This is what I mean when I say that you already know the answers to the questions. This is why I say I hope that you don't backslide into the same robotic responses.
Yeah, but I'm going back to it again. It's the same thing.
But you're going back to the same answers.
Again. Dan. G'day, Becca.
Because you don't want to say it. That's why
you say
you're still in the class. Because you have yet to say it.
And La Grace, that's another good theory. And probably, it's like everything with Lorne. Like, he's all his shit is Occam's razor. Like, the most, obvious one is there. And this is probably the actual reason he was angry. He was angry and screaming because he was jealous and threatened. That is most likely just the real key there. You know, that's his fucking nieces. You know, that's probably Lord's thoughts. You're talking to him a way you should only be talking to me. And g'day, the Lorne Identity. Great to see you, buddy.
There is something really wrong about getting turned on by a girl getting molested.
Yeah, there is. And I hate myself for it.
Okay, I understand. I understand that there's something in you that turns you on about that.
No, it doesn't turn me on anymore.
Just stop,
Okay, you need to tone it down because you're getting defensive.
Okay, I've got to go back to that.
I
love that bit.
No, it doesn't turn me on anymore.
Okay, you need to tone it down because you're getting defensive.
I know, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I love it when Debbie slams him. That's amazing. You need to tone it down.
It doesn't turn me on anymore. I don't like thinking about it. I hate the thought of it. Whenever I see an underage girl, I go the other way. I literally go the other way so I can avoid even being near them. And it's sad.
Oh, and speaking of name changes, it's Jessie Land. This is like the, 5th or 6th name change.
Why are you avoiding?
Because it just scares the fuck out of me.
Why does it scare you?
Because of what I went through.
What I went through. So even when he is trying to be a complicit piece of, when he's trying to be complicit, when he's trying to say what he thinks, needs to be said for Debbie to think better of him, I guess. He even can't avoid it. So you're talking about what do you hate all about this? It's what I went through. So it's not what I was going to do, what I was trying to do, the damage I'd already done. It's, I went to fucking jail. That's what I fucking hate. That's what scares me.
It doesn't scare me that I tried it again. It scares me that, for me to even be near him. Just because of what I went through. I just try to avoid any contact with him because I don't want to be accused of anything. I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, you have no need to be around children. Like, it's not like, you are a father, so, dropping off your kid at school and that's going to be difficult. And, what if someone sees me, they accuse me? You have no need to be around kids. You have no contact with kids, fortunately. You should not be seeking contact with kids. No kids, Lorne. Okay? Make a fucking shirt that says no kids. So every time you look in the mirror, besides your crooked fucking teeth and your ugly ass fucking face, you see no kids.
Because you're afraid of how you're going to feel.
No. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was trying to get you away from thinking.
Well, the thing...
That's not the reason. I don't want to be accused of anything.
Here's the reason. Here's the reason why I'm going to say what I'm going to say.
G'day, one of those weirdos.
You can't help what's going on in your head.
And that was, I didn't realize it ended. So that was the end of part 2. So we'll crack up a part 3, and we might actually get that one finished tonight. And g'day DJ Payne 1. And I know this goes without saying, and all of your songs are amazing, but that latest one, the ass in the air, that is just such a fucking banger. To say that I've listened to that 50 times would be an understatement. Awesome stuff. All right, let's find part 3.
Okay. Now
Oh,
I
sorry
kept
about
talking. I
that.
kept talking. You
Yeah.
weren't there that time.
That's okay. That's okay.
Oh, we
The reason
laugh.
why, because I know
We are having so much fun, Debbie, talking about, you know, all the kids that he tried to molest. Ha 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 ha.
what I was going to say, so I'll just continue. Um, you can't help what goes on in your head. There are a lot of responses that are automatic. You obviously hate yourself for the attraction that you have. I don't think that it goes away. I think you're scared. I think you're scared of it.
I knew that's where you were going to go with that. And that's why I was trying to get you away from going there, because that's not the reason. So I'm not attracted to them. I'm scared of being accused because I have this charge.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm
Okay.
scared of. I'm not attracted to underage girls anymore. It's what I've gone through has scared the fuck out of me. So I literally
Good.
do not want to be near them.
So
Yeah,
you're saying that
you're still talking about this. You don't be near children. You don't need to be near children. Like, how are we still talking about this? G'day, Ticklebee Shivers.
Chris Hansen was like shock treatment.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, the whole thing was shock treatment. The whole 5 years. And the whole time after that. This doesn't go away for me. It's every day. Me beating myself up, as well as getting beat up on the internet. As well as spending 5 years incarcerated.
To go back to something that I mentioned earlier, there's going to be people who are never ever going to forgive you for what you did. They don't care what your reasons are. They don't care what your story is. They don't care. They're just going to hate you. Period. There are also other people who are going to not forgive you, and they're not going to forget, but they're going to say, you know what? At least he's admitting what he did. At least he's being honest about what he did. So I'm just going to let it go now.
See, Maria tells me that, why do I care what other people think? And it's like, well, I care. I've always cared what other people think.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't just let it go. Because it's me they're thinking about. And I hate people thinking bad of me. I've always hated it.
Well, at this point, there are a lot of people who think the worst of you.
I know. And it sucks. It sucks to live with it.
Like I said, there's people who aren't going to care.
And what Debbie said there before, like that is very true. I mean, there a lot of people would be, and I dare say within this community. I mean, I obviously can't speak for everyone, but if he actually was remorseful and took stock of what happened and was engaging and not doing this again, like, I mean, I would still laugh at him for all the stupid shit he does, but that would more be my focus. Like, I wouldn't so much want to be going through calls like this kind of thing and trying to pick him apart based on this, because he would be trying to improve there. I mean, I'd still love to laugh at all the crazy shit with the fucking robot and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's regardless of the monster that he is, he's still also really fucking stupid and really gullible and really pathetic. And that wouldn't stop being funny, but it would be a different spin if he actually did, but he won't. And g'day, Jason, and esoteric rantings.
What you have to say. And then
Yeah,
there's others
And primitive blue goo.
who just would love to hear the honest truth.
Oh, and primitive blue goo, don't get me wrong, I completely agree it is fun to punch down on people like Lorne. Like, and that's what I'm saying. I would still punch down on him. Like, even if you removed, pedophilia from his range of disgustingness, he is still very punchable. Like, he is still very, heaps there to make fun of him about. I mean, just his abuse in general, like his abuse of adults, like that is something worth like. So I wasn't meaning like, oh hey, Lorne's engaged in therapy, righto guys, let's call it off. I'm shutting down my channel, no more. Like I'm just meaning, what would be you'd be kicking a dead horse if he was actually engaging, in my opinion.
There was a lot of, obviously, everyone who appeared on that show is a scumbag. Everyone. There's one guy, I don't know if you remember him. His screen name was Bald Beaver Hunter.
Yeah, I remember him.
He was a little guy.
John
Wesley Elliott.
He is such a, like John Wesley Elliott. I wish we had more material on him because he is a weird dude. And all good, Primitive Blue Goo. We're all good, buddy. Like I didn't make myself very clear.
Yeah.
He was in one of the prisons that I was in.
Oh,
for a short time. Yeah, for a short time.
Okay.
Actually, he was in the same jail cell, same pod that I was in for a short time.
So is that the non-protective custody you keep claiming to be in? Isn't that weird that all the pedos were, all together, pretty much only pedos, but that wasn't protective custody? So bizarre. Like, so bizarre.
Okay. He was talking to Chris, who he thought was a therapist. And when he was arrested, he went to his interrogation when he was talking to the police. And he also thought the detective was a therapist too. He felt like that's what he needed. And he was saying things that were disgusting, saying things that he wanted to have oral sex with a girl. That's why he was there. That's what his fantasy was.
I mean, he didn't think it was that bad, just oral.
That's what turned him on. He was sharing photos of 11 and 12-year-old girls. Well, you're saying
he actually lives on an island now. Fun fact.
He was sharing photos of 11 and 12-year-old girls. Well, you're saying like he's disgusting. You're the same guy.
Exactly.
No, I never shared photos. I never had any photos except for the one that Perverted Justice sent to me.
Bullshit that they sent that to you. Like, and this is something I think bears calling out every time he says this, every time he refers to this in a call over and over, because that is such fucking bullshit. He had that CSAM because he got it off someone, because he requested it, because potentially he even traded something. Because there is no way that Perverted Justice sent it to him for a few reasons. A, they didn't need to. So this story about they sent it to him to make him look more guilty. He was already guilty. Like, they had him dead to rights. They have no need to do that. Like, him saying that would be the kin to, like, the police coming across someone, right in the middle of when they're murdering someone, just stabbing them repeatedly, having it all recorded, and just to be sure, walking up and shooting the person with their gun and putting that person's fingerprints on it just to make sure that they got... Like, no, there was no need. They didn't do it. Also, they wouldn't take that risk. Like, they've got you dead to rights. They're not going to take the risk of doing something like that would not only have your case thrown out, but completely tarnish their whole organisation, something they worked very hard to build, and obviously the people in there are passionate and there for the reasons to try to get rid of scumbags like you. So they're not going to take that risk to tarnish their whole legacy, have other cases overturned, because a good defensive lawyer, if they were caught doing that, they would use that for their clients to say, well, they did this here, they probably did it there, that kind of thing. So, no, that didn't happen. And the other point is, so you clearly got it from someone else, because the only other way to get it would be the dark web, and I don't think you could figure out how to use the dark web. And also, you wouldn't have just got sent it to it. It's not like someone has that in their possession and just sends it out like as like a bulk email, like, hey, just in case you wanted some CSAM. Like, because they're not going to take that risk. They're not going to send it out to someone that could catch them doing it. So you had CSAM because you wanted it, because you got it from someone else, because you're a disgusting fucking pedophile.
And I deleted
Case closed. I solved the case.
that off my computer.
Arsehole.
Well, I deleted it off what I thought was my computer, but it only saved me cookies or shit that I don't know anything about. Emma explained it to me.
Oh, okay, about the picture. But having child pornography, that's just another nail in the coffin.
Oh, and James Dean, he had CSAM, child sexual can't remember what the A stands for, but basically child pornography.
I know.
Whether it being there or not doesn't make things any better for you.
It was a file that was sent to me from somebody from Perverted Justice, and at the time, not giving any thought of what it was, because I'd never had anything like that sent to me before.
How would you know it was someone from Perverted Justice?
Well, because it took me a while to figure it out.
And how did you do it?
Out that it was a file that was sent to me from someone from Perverted Justice.
So what?
And it was child pornography. It was child pornography, and it was fucking disgusting.
So how do you know? I'm trying to figure out, how did you know it was Perverted Justice that did it?
Because it was the same time that I was talking to Kayla.
Well, you were talking to other people too.
Yeah, but at the time I was only talking to Kayla. I would talk to somebody else, but I don't remember who it was I was talking to. And actually, I don't know if I was even talking to them. I'm trying to remember, and I can't.
No, this is just fucking stupid. That's ridiculous. Oh, that I received it in the month period that I was fucking talking to Kayla, so it must have been them. Bullshit. Fuck off.
Fuck, I wish I can remember it. I can't remember if I talked to them or not. I don't think, it doesn't seem like I talked to them.
Okay.
It seems like somebody just sent the file to me and said, "Here, look at this." And at the time, I had never had child pornography sent to me, so it wasn't even in my mind. And I clicked it on, see what it was, and when it popped up, it was child pornography. And I fucking deleted it. I don't know if I was talking to him or not. I don't remember.
And in saying all of this, who even knows if this story is true? Because I don't understand how they didn't find it on his computer. If it did, like, there is so much, because the other thing about Lorne is such a liar. Yeah, he is such a compulsive liar that you can't even, like, a lot of people, if they lie, there will be strands of truth in there, but the things they lie about are the stuff that they don't want to admit to. So, a normal person, if they were telling this lie, the truth is they had it, but they don't want to say how they got it. So, it was sent to me, or this happened. But Lorne is such a compulsive liar. This could just all be a complete fabrication. And this could just be Lorne basically saying this so he can go on to say about how disgusted he was by it. So, see, Debbie, if I'm disgusted by that image, that means I'm not a pedophile. And that means that you can trot your ass down here and we can get married. Like, that could well be this dickhead's reasoning.
Why did you delete it?
Because it was child pornography. It was gross.
You were afraid of it.
And g'day, Poutine Dream.
I was afraid of it. It was disgusting.
And g'day, Drive 137.
Well, I mean, it's no different than what you were thinking about. And it was no different than what you were doing. You were going to do with Kayla.
But it was different because I was seeing it. Maybe that's why none of it felt real to me. Maybe that's why I have a hard time admitting it, because I see that picture and I was grossed out by it. bothers me, and to this day it's still burned in my fucking head.
Well, if that was the case, why did you still go there then? So if you're trying to, you're trying to say that I saw this picture and it basically made me realize how disgusting what I'm doing is. Like, why would you ever have talked to Kayla again? Like, that should have been like, whoa, okay, well, I've got to, this is the kind of stuff I was wanting to do. Because remember, he wanted to take the pictures of her, naked and with his fucking dink inside her. So why was that not a wake up call? Fucking bullshit. You're just telling so many fucking lies you can't even keep up. And g'day, Jason.
Well, I think that you can take the idea of Kayla not being real.
And Tuber grandson, that's another good point. But he'd already seen MySpace Girl. He admitted that he saw her, flash someone else. So that didn't turn him off enough to never talk to another kid again. In fact, it most likely fucking encouraged him.
In your mind, and take it off the table.
Yeah.
That's another one of your defenses.
To me,
Kayla,
I was trying to make it real.
Right, Kayla was real.
So mad at myself for fucking doing such a stupid thing. Such a selfish, pathetic, disgusting thing.
Well, you said it before. It turned you on.
Don't turn me on anymore. It grosses me out. It bothers me.
Bothers you.
That's why I have a hard time talking to people about it. So don't want to admit that I did it, even though I did.
There has to be a better way for you to go about things when you don't want to talk about it, instead of denial and defensiveness. And most importantly, deflection and alcohol, going after people that are involved directly with what you're upset about. It's just you're mad at them for something else and you're upset at the time, so then you start pointing fingers.
I don't even think it's them that I'm mad at. I think it's me.
It should be you. You're the only one who has control over your actions. But you've made it your point to make it about other people. You wanted to sue NBC for millions of dollars for nothing.
Yeah, I know.
You told Winnie that everyone was against you. Your attorney didn't do shit for you. If they had, then you would have gone to trial and you would have been exonerated and gone on with the rest of your life. But the reality is, Lorne, you were fucked. You had no defense. What the fuck was your defense going to be?
I don't know.
Well, tell me what your defense was.
I don't know. I'm not going to say I don't know. I don't remember.
So when you were...
So much, I think the whole time it was just because I was so mad at myself for doing it. So I was taking it out on other people.
You were trying to make it not your fault. That's what you were doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's exactly what I was doing.
Because like you said earlier, you didn't get upset with yourself until Chris Hansen walked around the corner. That's when you're like, oh, motherfucker, I'm screwed.
That is exactly what he thought too. And I still watch that clip so much, and I love the transition from happiest day of his life, Lorne, to my world is over, Lorne. Is just incredible. In a split second, it all changes.
It wasn't any of the time before then. All of the violations against Kayla. None of that was upsetting to you.
I know. Pretty fucking sad.
Yep,
it's
sure
not
is.
sad. It's disgusting. It's infuriating.
It's sad that I would be so selfish,
And heartless.
It's not
so
sad.
thoughtless, so heartless.
Take out the sad. It's not
Oh,
sad.
It's
you're
disgusting.
so fucking predictable, Lorne. It's either disgusting and thoughtless and heartless, or awesome and special and love the way we are together.
That I would be so selfish and thoughtless and heartless and gross.
And to think all of those things only after you were caught. Is that disturbing to you?
It's very disturbing to me. I hate it. Thinking, well, I could have hurt someone like that.
Well, and how that wasn't even your first thought. Your first thought is, I'm going to go to prison.
Yeah.
It wasn't the fact.
And g'day, Turd Ferguson and Ryan K.
You were jerking off on your camera for a kid.
Yeah, I know.
That you were asking.
So you didn't never jerk off for Kayla like you said to Winnie. Isn't that interesting? You know, you're so fucking mad about that, but happily to admit it here.
To masturbate for you.
Would have affected her for the rest of her life. And her kids. And her husband.
G'day, DeP's fashion consultant.
Her parents.
If she
And that's all right, mate. I've accepted your late slip, so we're all good.
able to have a husband, if she was able to have kids, if she was able to have a normal, healthy relationship with anyone, which is questionable.
Yeah, it's very questionable.
The reason why it's difficult for me to process the idea that Kayla was the first one you ever talked to was because you had everything figured out.
Yep.
What do you mean I had everything figured out?
And yes, and this is such a good point, what the point Debbie's making here and goes on to make. That's exactly what, right, this is no way it's the first time, because he knew about all the you know, having to delete your archives and I mean, you know, he really had the code of PN figured out. I mean, NASA's top guys are still trying to crack that code.
Well, you had your plans, and even before then, trying to work around her parents saying that.
Okay,
well,
I know. Yeah, but I know what you're saying. And
what am I saying?
That I must have thought about it for a while before I started talking to Kayla.
Not even just.
No, that's not what Debbie is saying. She's not saying you must have thought about it before. She's saying that you had done it before, that there had been multiple kids before, and you were able to try to, you know, hone your craft, as it were.
Must have been in my mind before that.
Yes, and you said that it was, so you're not going to backpedal now.
No, I'm not backing out on it because I already told you that I had to have thought about it, that I did think about it. Because when it was mentioned to me before, or when I hear stories about it, yeah, I thought about it before, but I never made plans of what to do and how to do it, and that's what I was trying to say. I've never sat there and dwelled on this stuff and put actual thought into it.
Well, even before the plan of getting into your truck and driving and all that stuff, I'm talking about working out how you could continue talking to her without getting caught. I can give you examples. Make sure you turn my cam off if you leave because I don't want your parents to walk in the room. Joking about how she can't tell anybody about her boyfriend who's going to be 37 years old, and how she should ask her dad for a lock on the door because she's getting older now and she needs her privacy, aka Lorne wants to jerk off. Make sure.
Oh, and
You
g'day, Chris Evans. Chris Evans. Glad you were able to catch a live. Great to see you here.
call one of your other friends so that my number is not the last one. Because God forbid her parents just get curious one day, pick up the phone. Who was the last number that was called? Ring, ring. Talking about how she was going to come to your house instead. That would have been a lot safer because you were probably really nervous about being in hers. Do you remember what she was going to have to do after she pet Bud for 5 minutes?
No, I don't.
You sure about that?
I'm sure I don't want to remember. Maybe I'm shutting it up on purpose.
Don't shut it out.
Okay, so ask me the question again.
Okay. What did she have to do after playing with Bud for only 5 minutes? What was going to happen next?
I was going to take her in the bedroom and have sex with her, right?
Not exactly. You didn't have a bed.
Oh, the air mattress. I really don't
She was going to
remember.
have to, she was going to take off her clothes. That's when she was going to get naked. And before then, before you even got to your apartment, you guys were going to be in your truck. And you were going to wear some easy access clothes like the loose shorts that you had on. So she could blow you or jerk you off while you're driving. That's what I mean when I say that. The abuse of Kayla started the moment you asked her if she knew what rape was and if anyone made her say wow when she was in the chat room. That's when it started. You've even said that you lost sight of her being 13, but yet that's all you referenced during the entire time. Whether it was the constant presence of her parents, the fact that she hadn't really gone through puberty, she didn't know how to masturbate. And you even said, Lorne, and I'm going to refresh your memory because you seem to want to block it out. When she said she didn't actually stick her finger inside, you were happy because you wanted your finger to be the first one.
But I'm going to ask you, why you
No response to that, Lorne. No response.
the whole thing for me?
Because you need to hear it. You need to acknowledge it because you've been denying it this whole time.
I'm not denying that I said that stuff. So when you tell me about things that I said, I remember saying it.
Well, you just said before when I asked you what she had to do after she pet Bud for 5 minutes, at first you said, I don't know. And then you said, well,
Because
maybe I'm blocking it out.
Because I probably am blocking it out. I don't want to remember the things I said.
You have to. That's why I'm pointing them out to you. You have to know what you said because then you can finally move forward. You can get past all this stupid fucking shit that you've been saying all of these goddamn years. All this stuff that makes people just roll their fucking eyes. And it's out there because he made a video about it.
I can't take back the things that I said.
You can't.
I wish to Christ I could.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to remember the things that I said. I don't want to be that guy.
But you
were that guy.
All right, so we're about a quarter of a way through this final call in this series, so I'm going to end the call there for tonight, so we can finish it off tomorrow in kind of the lead up to Lorne's Day. But there was some pretty rough stuff in this, so I want to finish off with something a bit fun. So let's watch a weird version, hey? Let's and seeing as probably the most appropriate one. for this time. Let's watch Yell at Me, Why Don't Ya?
Probably be thinking he too should have stayed away.
Well,
Using the screen name Lorne A20014, he turns on his webcam. He wants her to look at his penis.
well, yell at me, why don't you? Well, yell at me, why don't you? Well,
Hey, I'm glad you could come.
oh my God. Well, yell at me, why don't you? Well,
Hey, I'm glad you could come.
oh my God.
Were you gonna bring me something?
Well, yes, I was, and I did. My butt.
Your butt.
Yes, my butt.
Did you bring condoms?
Yes, I did. Out in the truck.
Well, what good are they gonna do in the truck if we're in here?
Well, yell at me, why don't you? Can I have your kiss?
Through your butt?
Yes, my butt. Well, yell at me, why don't you? Well,
What are you up to tonight?
not a whole lot.
Want to explain yourself?
Hey, sir.
How are you?
All right, how are you doing?
You're a pretty prolific chatter there. You send her naked photos. You have an explicit conversation. And you bring condoms.
Yes, I did. Well, yell at me, why don't you? Well,
What are you up to tonight?
not a whole lot. Well, yell at me, why don't you? Well,
What are you up to tonight?
not a whole lot.
Want to explain yourself?
I thought you had blonde hair.
Those are all your pictures, right?
I haven't had a kiss yet.
Explain yourself.
Can I have a kiss first?
Is that all you do in your spare time?
Not really. I'd never do anything. Well, yell at me, why don't you? Well,
What are you up to tonight?
not a whole lot. Well, yell at me, why don't you? Well,
Help me to understand this.
okay. Can I have a kiss first?
At first, you seem like the Good Samaritan. I'm Chris Hansen, the protector.
That's like cool.
What made you, all of a sudden, for the first time, get online, chat up a 13-year-old girl, I'm Chris Hansen, and drive up from Nashville to meet her, Chris Hansen, for sex? For sex.
That's like cool.
For sex. You're one of those weirdos.
Yell at me, why don't you?
Does this incident make you think that perhaps you have a problem?
Not really.
So how did it go from, hey, be careful, don't give anybody your last name, to, hi, here's some naked pictures of myself?
Well, yell at me, why don't you?
I mean, help me to understand this. I wish I were sticking it in you right now.
Well, yell at me, why don't you?
You talk about getting married. Getting married, she's 13.
Well, supposed to be 13.
Are you excited about me or my penis?
Well, yell at me, why don't you?
Oh, here's a good one. Is Miss Vagina thinking about Mr. Penis?
Well.
Sheriff's office down!
Yell at me, why don't you? False.
So good.
You have the right to one phone call. Please dial.
Bitch. Yeah, what do you want?
Nothing to hide. I mean what I say. So here
I ain't got time for that shit.
That's fair. I don't think anyone has time for that. All right, so just quickly before I wrap it up, guys, a little while ago I mentioned that I was going to start an additional channel, which for things that aren't Lorne or TCAP related. So because there's a few other things that I want to look into, but I don't want to, I don't want to do those on here because I want to keep this, TCAP related. And, there might be things that I've got thoughts on that, people don't agree with that. That's great. Like, I love, having discussions about that. But so I want to keep that over there. And I did mention that on there, I was going to be the first kind of thing I was going to do is some Alex Jones stuff, specifically around his defamation trials. And I'm going to do other stuff on there. I want to do stuff like, more kind of true crime trials and that. And I mean, so this is just going to be an additional channel. Like so this is still going to be my main one. But anyway, having said all that, I am going to be uploading my first video later tonight. To that, so it's called Other Stuff. I've pinned a link to it in the chat there. And yeah, I'd love to see you guys over there if you are, if you're interested in that. So, yeah, if you want to check that out, check that out. Even though I'll be talking about Alex Jones in this video and a few other videos, who I know is a pretty polarizing figure, it's really just going to be sticking to the trial and the stuff around the Sandy Hook defamation. Like, if you agree with some of his conspiracy stuff and that, all good. We don't all have to agree. That's fine. But I do think it's interesting to look at kind of the effect that some of his stuff has said, and then also the kind of punitive punishment that's been handed down. Anyway, guys, that's enough about me. Thank you once again for being here. I really appreciate it as always. So more streams next week, and I'm working on something I think is going to be pretty awesome, and I hope you guys will agree for Lorne's Day. So have a fantastic weekend, and stay awesome, and I will see you next week. Don't forget to delete your archives. Okay, bye guys.